Hello guys, first of all, good afternoon. So welcome to Bhavna's Online Academy. So today we are going to see the piecemeal distribution. I'll just start sharing my screen. You can tell me if it is, if you're able to see the screen now. Are you guys able to see the screen and is my voice audible? Is everything okay? Yes. Okay, very good. Okay, guys. So today we are going to start with the piecemeal distribution concept. Okay. So what is piecemeal distribution concept? So what is piecemeal distribution concept? So today, see, I have written. Okay. So in piecemeal distribution concept is a concept of partnership. In this piecemeal distribution concept, what you do is that you have two methods. One is the highest relative capital method and the other method is maximum loss method. So what you do by these two methods are that the partner's capital. So the partner's capital which you have, the way in which you distribute the partner's capital at the end, there will be a change in that. Okay, so there will be a change in that in the end. Okay, after distributing your cash, whatever you have to the third parties, outsiders and all of that, at the end when you have the money left, what will you do? You will distribute it to the partners, right? So in that distribution only you have two types of method, which is highest relative capital method and maximum loss method. The other parts of both the methods are same. So when we start doing the sum, you will understand it better. Okay, so what happens in a piecemeal distribution is that you have something known as order of payment. You have something known as the order of payment. So in this order only you have to make the payment. So what will happen? So in this, what will happen is that you will sell an asset and then realize some cash, right? That's what we read in the first class. So you will sell some kind of asset and from that you will realize some cash. So what happens in piecemeal distribution is that all your assets are not sold at the same time. All your assets are not sold at the same time. They are sold one by one. So one by one, when your assets are sold, according to that, you will, you will pay off your liabilities. So this is a concept of piecemeal distribution. Piece means by pieces, piece by piece only you will receive your cash. So like that only you will also pay off your liabilities. So until this, I hope the concept of piecemeal distribution is clear. So I'll just repeat it once. So what happens is that your assets will not be sold off or realized all at once. It will be reduced time by time only. So after some time like that only your, your assets will be realized. So as and when your asset is realized, then and there your liabilities you will pay off. So you will have a question. Suppose I realize so what was he saying? Suppose you sell off plant and machinery. Okay, first you have 2-3 assets in which your plant and machinery is sold off first and you receive suppose 5 lakh from that. So this 5 lakh rupees, first which liability will you settle off using this 5 lakh rupees which you have got by selling off your asset is what we are going to read now. So that is what is order of payment. First, whenever you get some money in your hand, first what you have to pay off is your realization expenses. So first you have to pay off your realization expenses. So once realization expense is paid, the second thing that you'll have to pay with the money that you have is your secured loan. That means if a loan is taken on security of assets, suppose you have taken a loan of 5 lakh and for this loan of 5 lakh you have you have given a security of suppose plant and machinery. Okay, and suppose if you have given a security of plant and machinery against the loan of 5 lakh rupees, then if the asset is sold, if what happens is, if suppose the first the plant and machinery is itself sold, then if the asset is sold which is related to a secured loan, then the amount will be used to repay the loan. Okay, so there may be two cases. One, the secured asset might be sold, that is your plant and machinery might be sold, or there may be another possibility that first the secured asset might not be sold and some other asset might be sold. If your secured asset is sold first, then in such case first you will pay off your secured loan. Okay, third, that is your second point. In third point, what they tell you is that if the secured asset is not sold, that means some other asset is sold, like your land and building, or you can have stock or something like that is sold. Okay, other than your secured asset, some other asset is sold. Then in such case, what you will do is you will pay all the liabilities proportionately. You will pay all your liabilities proportionately. The liability may be secured or unsecured, it will not matter. You will pay all the liabilities proportionately. Whereas in the second point, what did I tell you? Only the secured loan will be paid off if the secured asset is sold. Okay, so that was the third point. The fourth point here tells you that after all these are paid, your outsiders liabilities, any other outsiders liability, after you pay all of them, at the end you will pay your partner's loan. So partner's loan you will pay at the end only. So first, realization expenses. Second, your unsecured loan. Third, if a secured asset is not sold, all the assets you will pay proportionately. I mean, all the liabilities you will pay proportionately. Fourth one is, if assets are paid, then in such case, I mean, so if all the third parties liabilities are paid or outside liabilities are paid, if all of them are all paid, at the end you will pay your partner's loan. That is your fourth point. What your fifth point says is that before the final payment to the partner, that means after partner's loan, you will pay your partner's capital only. Okay, you will pay your partner's capital only. But before paying your partner's capital, if you have any other contingent liability, that you will have to first set aside amount for that, and finally you will pay your amount to the partner's capital. Is until this, do you guys have any doubt? Because this is the order of payment that we are going to follow. Do you guys have any doubt in this? Is it clear? Should I explain it again? No? Okay. Okay, I hope it is clear. Can I get others? Can I get reply from others? Is it clear? Okay, so I hope you don't have any confusion. If you have, I can still explain it once more. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is the order of payment. Just write it down somewhere. First, you have to pay realization expenses. Second, secured loan. Third, if unsecured asset is sold, in such case, you will pay all the liabilities proportionately. Let it be secured or unsecured. Fourth, you will pay partner's loan. Fifth, you will pay partner's capital. So this is the order of payment. So now what we are going to do is, today we are going to see the highest relative capital method. Highest relative capital method is also known as excess capital method. So this is the method we are going to see today, and in the next class we will see about maximum loss method. Okay, so now let's start with highest relative capital method. So first we'll read the question, and then while solving the answer, I'll tell you how you have to solve this. Okay, so all of you can take your book and pen and start solving with me itself. So when you are solving itself, I'll explain you how to solve it. Okay, so illustration number 8. In illustration number 8, they tell you that there is something known as Ajay Enterprises. It is a partnership firm in which A, B and C are three partners sharing their profit and losses in the ratio of 4:3:T. Okay, and the balance sheet of the firm as on 31st December 2011 is as below. So they have liabilities. In liability side, they have A's capital, B's capital, and C's capital. They have B's loan. Then they have sundry creditors. In the asset side, they have factory, building, plant and machinery, debtors, stock, and cash at bank. Okay. So they tell on the balance sheet date, all the three partners have decided to dissolve their partnership. Okay. Since the realization of asset was protracted, they decided to distribute amounts as and when feasible. Okay. So what they tell is that, so as and when you realize assets, as and then you will pay your liabilities. Okay. And for this purpose, they appointed C. So what will C do is, C will realize all the assets. C is the person who is responsible for selling the assets of the dissolved company. Okay. And what they tell is, so since C has been appointed some kind of a job, C will not do it at free, right? So C will also want some kind of a remuneration for what he does. So what they have told is, so they appoint C, and C will get a remuneration of 1% for the value of assets realized. So as and when, at whatever value here he realized, so what was I saying? So for that, C will get a remuneration of 1% of the value he has, value of assets realized. Okay. So as and when he realizes the asset, for the value which he has realized the asset, he will get 1% on that. Okay. Okay, and the assets realized should be other than cash at bank, because cash at bank you won't realize. Anyway, you have it in the cash form only. So you'll not realize cash at bank. Okay. And 10% of the amount distributed to the partners. And also at the end, when he distributes the, to the partners, when he distributes the amount to whatever amounts is going to the partners, in that also he will get a 10% commission. So he'll get two things. One is 1% remuneration of the assets he has realized. Second is that for whatever amount is distributed to the partners at the end, for that he'll get 10%. So these are the two things that C will get. Okay. So here the assets were realized piecemeal as under. So in first installment, they got 18,650 rupees. In second installment, they got 17,320 rupees. In third installment, they got 10,000 rupees. In the last installment, they got 7,000 rupees. And then they tell you that there were dissolution expenses, which were estimated to be 3,000 rupees. Okay. And the creditors were settled for 15,900 rupees only. Okay. So the creditors were finally settled off for 15,900 rupees. In the end, they have told you that you have to prepare a statement among the partners by higher relative capital method, So this is how you have to, this is how a question looks. And now we are going to start solving that question. So here what you do in highest capital relative method, or you can also call it as excess capital method. So in excess capital method, your first step, okay, you can write down the steps. So in your excess capital method, your first step will be that you find out the excess capital of partners. You have to find out excess capital of partners. And in the second step, you will distribute the cash. In the second step, you will distribute the cash to the liabilities, distribute the cash. So these are the two steps for excess capital method. Step number 1, you have to find out excess capital of partners. And in step number 2, you have to distribute the cash. So here in this class, I don't think we have all the time to explain you conceptually that why this is done. I'll teach you how it is done. Once we understand how it is done, in the end, if we have time, I will tell you why it is done. Okay. So first I told you the first step is to find out excess capital of partners. So how will you find out the excess capital of partners? Excess capital of partners means C. A has 15,000 rupees, B has 7,500 rupees, and C has 15,000 rupees. So first let's write that. Okay, we'll write A, B, C, and wait just a second. Okay. Yeah, we'll write working note 1. We'll write calculation of excess capital. So now I'll tell you. Okay, just start writing with me. You will understand. Calculation of excess capital. So in calculation of excess capital, what you will do is, see, you have 3 partners, A, B, C. The balance of A is 15,000. The balance of B is 7,500 and the balance of C is 15,000. But their profit sharing ratio is 4:3:3. Okay, so do you think the capital of A is to B is to C is in alignment with their profit sharing ratio? Do you think it is in alignment with their profit sharing ratio? Yes or no? Do you think the capitals of partners, that is A 15,000, B, okay, yes, I already got the answer. The answer you have told is no. So here you guys have told me that the capital which the partners have currently is not in alignment with the profit sharing ratio. Okay, now this question also you need to answer me. Which partner do you think here has an excess capital? Which partner do you think may have an excess capital here? Just by seeing, you can tell me. Which partner? Very good, very good. You guys have answered partner C. When you just look at the sum, A has 15,000, B has 7,500, but C has 15,000 again. That means C has more capital. Okay, that means C's capital is, C has an excess capital. Okay. So now like this only we are going to find out in this calculation of excess capital that which partners have a capital more than what they should actually have, or more than what they actually should have requirement. Okay. Okay, so now how are we going to find out the excess capital is what we are going to see now. Okay, so first what you have to do, the first step that you have to do is write your opening balance, which we have already written. First, you have to write your opening balance. That will be your first step. So in this opening balance, what will happen is whatever your capital opening is, that in 15,000, 7,500 and 15,000, with that, if there is any reserves, you have to add it. And if there is any losses, you have to reduce it also. Directly, whatever is opening capital, you must not write. In the opening balance, what you have to write? Opening capital plus reserve minus losses. Since in the question we don't have any reserves or losses, we didn't take that into consideration. We directly wrote our opening capital as our opening balance. Okay, so the opening balance is 15,000, 7,500 and 15,000. Next, we are going to write profit sharing ratio. What is the profit sharing ratio? The profit sharing ratio is 4:3:3. Now, third step, what you have to do here is that you have to find something known as unit capital. You have to find something known as unit capital. So what is unit capital is that per unit. Okay, that is, you have to, now what you have to do is you have to do 1 divided by 2. That you have, now you have to do a 15,000 divided by 4. If you do, you will get your unit capital. So what is 15,000 divided by 4 here? It will be 3750. Okay, so what is next? What you have to do? You have to find unit capital of B. It will be nothing but 1 divided by 2, which is opening balance divided by profit sharing ratio. It will be 7,500 divided by 3. What will be the answer? The answer will be 2,500. In the third one, you have to find out, in C, you have to find out 15,000 divided by 3. That is 5,000. Very good, Roshni. Okay, so these are the first 3 steps. Now I'll move on to the 4th step also. First, we'll revise again. So you have to write A, B, C, and then you have to write their opening balances. Once you write their opening balances, second step, you have to write their profit sharing ratio. Third step, you have to find out the unit capital. Unit capital is nothing but your opening balance by profit sharing ratio. Okay, so once you have found out your unit capital, what you have to do in your 4th step is that you have to find out in 3rd step which is the least capital. Is A's capital the least in the 3rd step, or B's capital, or C's capital? Can you please tell me which is the least capital amongst the 3? B. Very good. So you have to choose the capital which is the least. Here the capital which is least is of B. It is 2,500. So in the 4th step, what you have to do is you have to find out something known as your required capital. You have to find out something known as your required capital. How will you find out your required capital? Is that whatever your least unit capital is into profit sharing ratio you have to do. So what is the least unit capital here? 2,500 multiplied by profit sharing ratio you have to do into 4. For A you have to do 2,500 into 4. The answer will be 10,000. For B, you have to do 2,500 into 3. The answer will be 7,500. And likewise for C, you have to do 2,500 into 3, which will be 7,000. Sorry, which will be 7,500 again. Okay, so these are the 4 steps that you have to do. Until this, do you guys have any doubt? In these 4th steps, do you guys have any doubt? Until required capital, I hope you are clear. You have to take the least unit capital and multiply it again with the profit sharing ratio. Okay. Once again. Okay. So once you have done this, what you have to do is now you have to draw a line. Now draw a line. Okay. So once you draw a line, now what you have to do is again you have to repeat those 4 steps only. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happens is that, see, now what has happened? Now you have, what you have to do in your step here is that here again you will get something known as opening, or you can just write here capital. Okay. 1 second, guys. Yes, so you can just write it as capital here. What you have to do here is that you have to do 15,000 minus 10,000 and write the remaining balance here. So your opening balance was 15,000, but your required capital is only 10,000. So you have to do 15,000 minus 10,000 and you will get 5,000 as your balance. Ma. Okay, so what will you do for B? Can someone tell me what you will do for B? You will do opening balance minus required capital again. That is 7,500 minus 7,500. The answer will be nil. Okay, again for C also you have to do the same. 15,000, that is your opening balance, minus required capital 7,500. You will get a balance of 7,500. So like this, every time you run a series of these 4 steps, one partner's balance will become 0. Always remember this point. Every time you make the series of 4 steps, every time a partner's balance will become nil. So now in this case, B's capital has become nil. Now you have to do the same 4 steps. Again, you will have to write your profit sharing ratio. For A, it will be 4, for C, it will be 3. Then you have to write your unit capital. Unit capital will be capital divided by profit sharing ratio. So it will be 5,000 divided by 4, which is 1,250. And then for C, it will be 7,500 by 3, which is 2,500. Okay, so once you do that, next step you have to find out your required capital. So how will you find out your required capital? Whatever your least unit capital is. Can someone tell me in this case what is the least unit capital? In the third step, what is the least capital? Very good. A, 1,250. Yes. So this is our least unit capital. So now what you have to do is you have to do 1,002. So in required capital, what you will do? Whatever your least unit capital is multiplied by profit sharing ratio, you will do. So you have to do 1,250 into 4, which will be 5,000. Very good. And 5,250 into 3 again, which will be, I've got a few answers. Once again, I'll just see, which will be 3,750. Very good. 3,750. Okay. So now again, after the 4 steps are completed, you have to put a line again. And now in this step, what you have to do? You have to do capital minus required capital. For A, it will be 5,000 minus 5,000, which is nil. For C, it will be 7,500 minus 3,750, 3,750. So again, I told you, right, when you complete a series of 4 steps, again, another capital's balance will become 0. Okay, so in the end, when you have only one partner's balance left, you have to stop it then and there. You have to stop it then and there. This will be termed as your excess capital. This will be termed as your excess capital. Okay. So now until this, do you guys have any doubts on how to calculate excess capital? After this, I'll move on to the next part. But before this, do you guys have any doubt in this? No, right? I hope everybody is clear. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me, right? Okay, fine. So now what you will do is, when I was teaching you about the order of payment, I told you that after every other after every other liability is paid off, at the last you will pay off partner's capital. So here you didn't know how to pay off partner's capital, like in what way you will have to pay off partner's capital. So here, by doing the calculation of excess capital, you have found out a way on how to pay the partner's capital. So here, how we are going to pay to the partner's capital in the end is that first we are going to pay to C. That is 3,750 rupees you are going to pay. This amount you will pay to C first. Second, who you are going to pay is that you are going to pay to A and C. So second, who you will pay is you will pay to A and C only. But how you will pay is that you will pay this amount which is above the excess capital, 5,000 and 3,750. These amounts you will pay. To A and C, you will pay. For A, you will pay 5,000, and to C, you will pay 3,750. So always remember, your first pay will be your excess capital. Your second pay will be the required capital, which is above the excess capital. Okay, your second pay will be the required capital, which is above the excess capital. That will be, to A, you will have to pay 5,000. To C, you will have to pay 3,750. Okay, this is in the ratio of 4:3. And the third pay will be whatever balance you will have to pay to A, B, and C to all in the ratio of 4:3:3. Okay, so this is how you will pay, or you can also say in the ratio of 10,000 is to 7,500 is to 7,500, or you can directly say in the ratio of 4:3:2 you will have to pay. So this is the order in which you will pay to your partners at the end. First, you will pay to C, that is excess capital of 3,750. Then second pay will be the required capital to A and C, which is 5,000 and 3,750, which is in the ratio of 4:3. And the third payment will happen to all the three partners A, B, and C, which is 10,000, 7,500, 7,500, or also you can say it as 4:3:3. Okay, so this is how the payment to all the partners is going to happen. I hope you guys don't have any doubt until this. Now we are going to start with the sum. So whenever you start a sum, the first step which I told you in excess capital method to find out the excess capital of partners is complete. Now we are going to do the second step, which is distributing the cash. Okay. So now I'll teach you how to do that. Okay. So 1 second, guys. Okay, just a second. Okay. Yes, I just wanted to make space here. Okay. So now what we are going to do is I'll first tell you how to prepare the format for the answer. Okay, I'll tell you how to prepare the format for answer. So how will you prepare the format for the answer is first you will write date. Okay, you'll first write your date. 1 second. Then the next column that you are going to prepare is your details column. Next is your details column. After details, you will write cash. After cash, you will write total liability. Okay, so these are the 4 columns that will come in mandatory every sum. In each and every sum, these 4 columns will compulsorily come. Okay, these 4 columns will compulsorily come. Now, what will be the change in each and every sum is that? So always remember these 4 columns: date, details, cash, and total liability. In each and every sum, you are going to get. Now, what difference is going to be in other sums is that so after total liability, you have to write the order in which the liability is going to pay. So what was our order? First, our order was realization expenses. For that, you don't need to prepare a column. Let's start from the second order of payment. Next is secured loan. Do you guys have any secured loan in the question? Can you please answer? Do you guys have any secured loan in the question? Yes or no? Do you guys have any secured loan in the question? No, right? No. Okay. So leave that. What is the third order of payment? Third order of payment is unsecured loan. So do you guys have any unsecured loan in the question? Or unsecured liability in the question? Not exactly loan, but unsecured liability in the question. Yes? Yes, yes, you have. What is the unsecured liability that you have in the question? What is the unsecured liability? It is the creditors which you have. Sundry creditors. Loan of B is a partner's loan. It is not unsecured liability. It is sundry creditors. So next you will have to write here creditors. Okay. After creditors, what is the next thing that you will pay? Next thing that you have in the order of payment is your partner's loan. So in the next thing that you will pay here is B's loan. Okay. After paying off B's loan, what is the last thing that you will pay? After paying B's loan, what is the last thing that you are going to pay? Can you answer what is the last thing that you're going to pay? Partners capital. Very good. Partners capital you will pay. So it will be A, B, and C. Okay. And just draw lines here. So I hope you are making this format along with me. Okay. So we don't have any confusion. Okay. Okay, so this is the format. In this format, the first 4, that is date, details, cash, and total liabilities column will never change. After that, whatever liabilities we are going to write, it will change according to each question due to the order of payment and also what kind of liabilities you have in the question. Okay. So now we will start with writing our answer. So in our answers, always you must start with writing your opening balances. So what is your opening balances? So opening balance, what is the opening balance of cash? Please see the question illustration number 8. The opening balance of cash is 275. Next, what is the opening balance of creditors? It is 16,500. What is B's loan opening balance? It is 4,500. A's capital will be 15,000. Here also, whenever you write this opening balance, you will have to do plus reserves and minus losses and only write. Okay. So it will be 15,000, 7,500 and 15,000. So this is the first thing that you have to write. So that will be your opening balance. Okay. So opening balance, what is the total liabilities? How will you find out your total liabilities? It will be total of all the liabilities. It will be 16,500 plus 4,500 plus 15,000 plus 7,500 plus 15,000. So your total liabilities will be 58,500. Until this is everyone clear? How you have to prepare the format and how you will write your opening balance. From now on only the real sum is going to start. So now first what you will do is, see, first what you have to do is, what is your first installment? You have to see, you have to first note down your first installment. So here your first installment, first installment is 18,650. So you get 18,650 cash here from your first installment. Okay. So what they have told you here is that, so totally what is your total cash right now? It will be 275 plus 18,650. It will be 18,925. This is the total cash which is available with you now. If there is reserves, how will you present it? I already told whatever the reserves is that with the partner's capital account, you will have to adjust it. You will not show it separately. In the ratio of 4:3, 4:3, like how you used to do in your what do you say, partner's capital account before in your basic dissolution sums, like that you will adjust it with the partner's capital. I hope it is clear. If it is not, you can ask me the doubt again. I'll clear it. Okay. So here now we have a cash balance of 18,925 with us after putting on our first installment. So now we'll start with solving our question. So first what you have to do is that when you get the cash balance of 18,925, there was a point written in the question. You must not directly start with giving it to your liabilities. Before that, in the question, they told us one point. They have told us here that when they appointed C will get a remuneration of 1% for the value of assets realized. Now he has realized a value of 18,650 here, right? So on this 18,650 here, first 1% will go to C. Am I correct or not? Am I correct or not? So the value of assets realized, in that 1% must go to C. Here he realized the amount of 18,650 in the first installment. So for that 1%, it has to go to C. Okay, so always remember on this 18,925, don't calculate the 1%. You have to calculate the 1% on the asset value of assets realized. Here the value of assets realized is 18,650. So first now we are going to give it to C. So it will be minus 1% remuneration to C. So 1% on what you will calculate? 18,650. So 18,650 into 1%, it will be 186 rupees. It will be 186 rupees. Okay. So now we'll reduce. So what is the remaining cash balance that we have? It will be 18,925 minus 186. It will be 18,739. So what we are left with now is 18,739. Here you may get a doubt. Let's see, here they also told that we have to give him 10% of the amount distributed to the partners. Now you guys tell me whether this 18,739 will be distributed to the partners or will it be distributed to the liabilities? Will it be distributed to the partner or will it be distributed to the liabilities now? It will be distributed to the liabilities. So in such case, this 10% you will have to only pay when the amount is distributed to the partners. Here, since the amount of 18,739 is going to be distributed to the liabilities, here you do not need to pay him a 10% commission currently. Okay. So now you have this 18,739. Okay. So what is the first payment that you have to make? In the order of payment, I already told you. Here, see. The first payment that you will have to make is to the realization expenses. So first we'll now pay on to the realization expenses. We'll do minus realization expenses. How much is the realization expenses here? Where have they given? 3,000 rupees. They have given it here. 3,000 rupees. First we'll pay to the realization expenses. So the remaining cash balance which you'll have after paying the realization expenses would be 15,739. Okay, so the remaining cash balance. So first, whenever you got an installment, you paid 1% remuneration to C. Then with whatever balance you had, you paid off your realization expenses also. Okay, so the remaining cash that we have in hand right now is 15,739. So who do you think this 15,739 must go to? Who is the next in the list to pay? Very good, Nandita. The answer is creditors. The next who you have to pay this 15,739 is creditors. But creditors, how much is the value you actually have to pay? You actually have to pay, actually the balance is 16,500, but in the question they have already told you here that they have been settled at 15,900 only. Okay, but still we are short of some cash. It's still okay. Whatever cash right now we have in hand, we'll first pay that. And after the second installment comes to that, we will adjust the remaining amount. Okay. So 15,739, first you'll have to pay it off to the creditors. So from here you will do minus creditors. 15,739. From total liabilities also 15,739 will get reduced. because we are paying to creditors, right? So creditors minus 15,739. Okay, so when you do this, what will be? So when you do this, what will be your remaining creditor balance? You will have to write here. What will be the remaining balance? So creditors, the remaining balance, I mean for cash available, the remaining balance will be nil. For total liabilities, the remaining balance will be 58,500 minus 15,739. The answer will be 42,761. And for creditors, the remaining balance will be 761 rupees. Very good. For creditors, the remaining balance will be 761 rupees. Now in the company, they don't have any other cash left. So now you have to take your second installment. Your second installment was 320. So your second installment will be, from second installment, you got a cash of 17,320 rupees. Okay, so from these 17,320 rupees, who will you pay now? You have to pay the remaining creditors. So now here, just listen to me. So you had a creditors of 16,500, but they have settled the creditors at, in the question they told you, they have settled the creditors at 15,900. Okay, so what are the remaining creditors? How we have already paid this 15,900 creditors, an amount of 15,739. So the remaining amount which we will have to pay to the creditors here is 761 rupees only. Okay, I mean, once again, guys. 706. 1 second, just a second. No, I just made a mistake here. So it is not 761 rupees. The remaining amount which you will have to pay to the creditors is 161 rupees. The remaining amount which you will have to pay to creditors is 161 rupees. Correct. I just went wrong there. So now we are going to pay him off 161 rupees only. But how we are going to adjust it in the, what do you say? In the answer, I'll show you. Okay, first, whenever we receive installment, what is the first thing that we have to do? Can someone tell me? What is the first thing that you will have to do whenever you receive a payment? I'll just check what answers you guys have given. C's commission you have to give. Very good, guys. Just a second. I'll just draw a few lines here. Okay. Yes, I think that's enough. Remuneration, you have remuneration. I just get confused with the pronunciation of this word. Okay. So now we'll pay first. Now, before we pay to the liabilities, we'll first pay 1% remuneration. Okay, to C. So what will be the 1%? It will be 7,320 into 1%, which will be 173 rupees. If you reduce it, what is the remaining cash balance that you have? You will have 17,147 rupees cash balance. Okay, so that is the remaining cash balance that you will have. From this remaining cash balance, now you will have to pay it to the creditors. So now how much we are going to pay it to the creditors is, you only have to pay here, as I already told you, you have to only pay amount of 161 rupees. So from this cash balance, you will reduce 161 rupees only. But from the total liabilities, you will reduce 761 rupees. And here also you will reduce 761 rupees. Why is it so that you only pay 161 rupees and reduce 761 rupees? Is because they have already told you that they have issued a discount of 600 rupees, right? Yes, they have issued a discount of 600 rupees. So directly you reduce that from the amount. Here you can also ask me, why don't we directly change the 16,500 into 15,900 at the start itself? Like that you must not do. This way only you have to follow. Anytime you make an opening balance, only write the original balance. Whatever discount is there, you can just adjust it like this. You can put in the cash account that you are reducing 161 rupees from the cash balance, but actually it is like you have paid 761 rupees. Is this clear to you guys? How I got 161 and 761? Do you guys have any doubt in that? Should I explain it again? No. Others, can I get an answer, please? Because this is somewhere you can get a confusion. Others, clear? Once more. Okay. So what happens is that in creditors, you actually in your balance sheet, you had a balance of 16,500 rupees. But in the question, they told you that creditors were settled for 15,900 only. You had a balance of 16,500, but they were settled for 15,900 rupees only. That means the creditors were paid off at a discount of 600 rupees. So what happened was, using our first installment, we actually paid out few of our creditors. We paid out 15,739 rupees of creditors we had paid already using our first installment. Okay. We had to pay off a remaining balance of 161 rupees only. We had to pay off a remaining balance of 161 rupees only. But what happened while we were doing the answer is that we had written here an amount of 16,500. So the remaining balance which we had to pay, actually pay, was 761 rupees. I mean, which we were to pay was 761 rupees, but since they had given us a discount of 600 rupees, you only had to pay a remaining balance of 161. So, one second. Okay. Okay, so what happened was, how you will show this in your statement is that you will not directly show a discount of 600 and reduce it. Rather, what you will do is, from the cash balance, how much you have paid, you have only paid 161 rupees, that you reduce from the cash balance. But from the total liabilities and creditors, you can reduce, including your discount, you will have to reduce the amount, that is 761 rupees you have to reduce. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes? Okay, fine. So I hope this is clear to you. Okay. Anyway you have a doubt, you can just ask me. Don't wait for me to ask you if you have any doubt. Okay. So now we had did. Okay. So now we'll find out the remaining balance. Okay. So what was the remaining balance? So the remaining balance of cash will be 17,147 minus 161, which will be 16,986. The balance of total liabilities will be 42,761 minus 761. It will be 42,000. And the creditors we have fully paid off. So that's it. Creditors we are done with. We have fully paid off the creditors. Okay. So with the remaining balance that you have, what will you pay? Who will you pay next? With the remaining balance of cash that you have, that is 16,986. Who will you pay? You will pay off B's loan. Very good, guys. So you will do minus B's loan. How much is B's loan? 4,500 only. So first we'll pay off him, minus 4,500. From our total liability also we'll reduce 4,500. Okay. And likewise from B's loan column also we'll reduce 4,500. So when you pay off this, what is the balance you are left with? What is the cash you are left with? 16,986 minus 4,500 will be 12,486. Okay, and the total liabilities will be 42,000 minus 4,500, which will be 31,500. And B's loan you will have paid off completely. So B's loan also completely finished. Okay. So now with this 12,486, what is the next payment that you have to make? To the partner's capital, right? The next payment that you will have to pay is to partner's capital. Now only the working note which we made in the first, here, where did it go? Where did I, just a second. This working note will come into use right now only. So with the balance which we have of 12,486, you will have to 10% commission. Yes, very good, very good, very good that you had just kept that point in mind. Very good. 10% commission you have to pay. Okay, now I'll first tell this point and then move on to the commission point. So with the balance that you have 12,486, the next payment that you have to make is to the, what do you say? Partners capital only, and in this order only you have to pay the partners capital. But before that, okay, I think you guys have, it is 37,500. Is it? Okay, sorry, I just made a mistake. It is 37,500 here. I told it was 31,500. Okay. So very good presence of mind. Okay. The people who had answered 10% commission, very good presence of mind. I already told you that in the start, that whenever you make in amount is distributed to the partners, C will get a commission of 10%. C will get a commission of how much? 10%. Okay. So now here there is a, what do you say? Here there is a catch. So before that, I think we don't have space here. We'll just make a new column. Okay, just a second, guys. We'll just make a new column here. So whenever you make, okay, suppose like this also in your exam, it might happen that what will happen is that whenever you are writing, your page might get end here. So whenever you are writing it in your next page, what you will have to do is you need not again write creditors, B's loan and all. Directly the 4 columns first you can make, that is date, details, cash, total liability you can do, and whatever the remaining liabilities are, that alone if you write, it is enough. That will be A, B and C. If you write these, it is more than enough. Okay, so we'll just write whatever balances here are. In details, you had a balance of, one second guys, in details you had a balance of 12,486. In cash you had a balance of 37,500. Total liabilities, oh shit, I just made, okay, sorry guys, I just made a mistake. Okay, so in cash column there was a balance of 12,486. Total liabilities balance was 37,500. A's balance was 15,000, B's balance was 7,500, and C's balance was also 15,000. Okay, so now from here we have to solve the sum. Here, since in the question they already told you that C must be paid a commission on whatever amount is distributed to the partners. Okay. So now here, what you would do? You tell me how will you? What will be the 10% commission here? Can someone tell me what will be the 10% commission here? 12,486 is the balance. What is the 10% commission here? To C, which we have to give to C, will do minus C's commission. What is the 10%? Can someone tell me yes or no? Can you guys tell me what is the 10%? On 12,486, that is where is you will go wrong. You will not find out the commission on 12,486. Here in the question, one second. Okay, 15,000, wrong. Okay, how will you 15,000 on whatever amount you distribute to the partners only, you will have to pay a commission of 10%. So the question of 15,000 will not come here at all. Okay, so I will tell you what will happen. So now what will happen? Suppose we'll do as you guys say, 12,486. In this, if you find out 10% commission, what will be the answer? What will be the answer? 12,486 minus 12449 will happen. Minus 1249 will happen. Oh, 1135. Okay guys, wait. First let me explain and just get back. Okay, so you will do minus 1249. The answer you will get is 11,237. Now you guys have to tell me whether the amount which is distributed to the partners is 12,486 or is it 11,237? Which is the amount which is going to be distributed to the partners? Which is the amount which is going to be distributed to the partners? Whether it is 12,486 or 11,237? Can you guys answer? 12,000. What is the amount which is going to be distributed to the partners? If the amount of 1,249 has been taken over by C, the remaining balance will be 11,237, correct? So this is the amount which will be transferred to the partners, right? How can you transfer 12,486? From that already you have given a commission to C. How will you transfer 12,486? The remaining balance of 11,237 only you are going to transfer it to partners. Do you understand it now? What is the balance? Now you guys again answer me. What is the balance that you will transfer to the partners? Is it 12,486 or 11,237? 12,486. From that you have given a 10% commission to C, guys. Then from that cash balance will get reduced. How are you going to transfer 12,486? The correct answer is 11,327. So here the amount which you are going to transfer to the partners is 11,237 only. But in the question what they told you is that they told you that you have to find this 10% commission on the amount which you distribute to the partners and not on the amount which you actually have as a balance. So in the question what they told you, you can go to the question and read again. They have told you that you have to find out the 10% of the amount which is distributed to the partners. Here the amount which is distributed to the partners is 11,237 and it is not 12,486. So here the 10% which we have found out is wrong. Okay, so what you will do is, it means that whatever this 12,486 amount is, in this itself you also have the 10% commission included, and also you will have the distribution amount of partners included. Okay, that means this is the 110% amount, in which 10% is your commission and the remaining 100% on which this 10% has been found out, this will be the amount which you distribute to the partners. So here what you will do 12,486 into 10 by 110. This is how you will find out your commission. Did you guys understand this, how I got 10 by 110, or should I explain it again? Did you guys understand or should I explain it again? Fast. Once more. Okay. So I'll explain it once more. Okay. Okay. So a lot of people also have a problem. I'll explain it once more. So here I hope you understood the amount which has to be distributed to the partners is 11,237. Now see, what we'll do is we'll take 12,486 and we'll find out a commission of 10% to C. But how we are going to find out this is, we are going to find out using 12,486 into 10 by 110. First, let's see what the answer comes. So if you do 12,486, you will get into 10 by 110. The answer that you will get here is 1135. So if you do 12,486 minus the commission paid 1135, what will be the answer that you are left with? 11351. So now you please tell me, the people who didn't understand, that is this 10%, you had to calculate on the amount which you are going to distribute on the partners. Here is this 10%, which is this 10% amount, is this 10% the amount which is is this 10% the amount which is calculated, which is going to be distributed to the partners? Is it calculated on the amount which is distributed to the partners? Is 11,351 into 10%, 1135. You had to calculate the commission of 10% on the amount which is distributed to the partners. If you do 10 into 110, you will exactly get that amount only. Did you guys understood this? Or should I explain it once more? You had to calculate 10%, guys, on the amount which is going to be distributed to the partners. If you do 12,486 into 10 by 110, you will get the amount which has to be calculated on the distribution amount. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So why you do 10 by 110? Okay. So once again, I'll just erase this. So now here what you are going to do, here you are going to reduce 10% commission minus 10% commission. You will do 12,486 into 10 by 110. When you do so, you will get a balance of 1135 here. So if you reduce this from the cash, the remaining balance which you will have is 11351. Okay. So this is the remaining balance which you will have, cash balance which you will have. From this cash balance of 11351, who will you pay first? Who will you pay first? You have to go to the payment order. Now, who are you going to pay first? You will pay to C. How much you will pay first to C? You will pay 3,750 to C first. Now, we will go to 11351 and you will pay to C. You will do minus C's capital. And how much you are going to pay? You are going to pay 3750. Okay. So from total liabilities also 3750 will get reduced, and from C's capital also 3750 will get reduced. So if you do this, the remaining which you will have is, once again, the remaining cash balance which you will have with you is 7,601. The total liabilities which you will have with you is 33,750. And C's balance would be 11,250. We'll also write A's and B's balance here. It will be 15,000 and 7,500. Okay. So this remaining balance of 7,601, who will you distribute to next? Who are in the payment order next? You will have to distribute it to A and C. The second payment will go to A and C. Correct. But to A and C, we actually had to pay 5,000 and 3,750. That is a total amount of 8,750 you had to pay. But here we only have a balance of 7,601. So what you will do is 7,601 in the proportionate amount you will pay. You will do 7,601 into 4:3 you will do, and in the proportionate amount you will pay, and the remaining amount which is payable you will pay it simultaneously. So if I do now, you will understand this. See, so this 7,601 you will pay to A and C's capital in the ratio of 4:3. If you pay this into the ratio of 4:3, it will be 7,601 whole amount you will pay. From total liabilities also 7,601 will come. So what will be the answer? If you do 7,601 in the ratio of 4:3, how much will pay to A and how much will pay to C? To A, we will pay 4,343, and to C you are going to pay 3,258. We'll take it as 58. Okay. Okay, so now if you pay that, the remaining balance which is there is in cash balance, you don't have anything else. In total liabilities, the remaining balance will be 26,140. A's remaining balance would be 10,657. B's balance would be the same, that is 7,500. C's balance would be 7,992. Now what we'll do? Now in such case, we'll have to take the third installment since our cash is over. What is the third installment? Our third installment is 10,000 rupees. Okay, now let's go back. We'll put our third installment. So you will do, one second guys. Yes, I hope it is visible. So it will be third installment. So third installment will be of 10,000 rupees. So in this 10,000 rupees, what is the first payment that we have to make? Can someone tell me what is the first payment that you have to make? You will have to pay to this remuneration of C. From whatever assets you have realized, you will first pay remuneration to C, right? So minus 1% remuneration to C. That will be 100 rupees. Okay. So you'll be left with 9,900 rupees. From this 9,900 rupees, what is the next payment that you have to make? You have to calculate commission, that is 10% commission. How will you calculate 10% commission? It will be 9,900 into 10 by 110. You will get 900 rupees, and if you reduce that, you will be left with a balance of 9,000. Okay, so now we have left with a cash of 9,000. So this 9,000 cash, who you will pay to? Which partners do you have to pay to? Can someone tell me which partners do you have to pay this? Which partners you will pay this 9,000 to? From the remaining balance, A and C. Yes, very good. A and C, because A, how much we have yet to pay? We have to yet to pay 10,657, and to B we have yet to pay 9,900 and 9,900. Okay, so here how you must calculate is that, see, actually A was to pay, we had to pay him 5,000 rupees, and B we had to pay 3,000. I think what was the balance? Let us check what is the balance. Okay, and A we had to pay 5,000 rupees, and B we had to pay 3,750 rupees. A, B. How much we paid them in the last installment? A was paid 4,343 and B was paid 3,252. What is the remaining balance that you have to pay to A and B? Can someone tell me? We'll do 5,000 minus 4,343. That will be 657 rupees. A has to be paid in remaining, and B will be paid 3,750 minus 3,258, which is 492. B has to be paid yet. So now using this 9,000 balance, first we will pay them the remaining amount. So what is the remaining amount? It will be 657 plus 492. It will be 1,149. So you will do minus A and C's capital. It will be 1,000. How much was it? 1,149. You will pay, and from the total liability also you will reduce 1,149. From A you will reduce 657, and from C you will reduce 492. So if you do this, how much will you be left with? You will be left with a cash balance of 708.51. Total liability of 25,000. A will be left with 10,000, B will be left with 7,500, and C will be left with 7,500. Okay, so this is where you will come. And always remember, before your last set of payment, always see these three will be in the ratio of 4:3:3 only. All the excess capital which was there has been paid off. Now it is in the correct ratio of 4:3:3. Okay, it is 10,000 is to 7,500 is to 7,500. So now we are in the correct ratio of 4:3:3. Okay. So now this 7,851, who are we going to pay to? We have paid our first pay and we have also paid our second pay. Here, see. The first pay has been paid, the second pay has been made. Who we have to pay the third pay to? We have to pay to all the partners. In the ratio of 4:3:3, you will have to pay to all the partners. Now we'll go back to the question. So 7,851. You have to do minus A, B and C's capital minus 7,851. minus 7,851. So in the ratio, if you now split it, you will get 3,141, 2355, 2355. If you do it in the ratio of 4:3:3, here you write 4:3:3. Okay. So the remaining balance will be cash. You will be left with no cash. The balance of total liabilities you will be left with is 7,149. A's balance you will be left with this 6,859. B's balance would be 5,145 and C's balance will also be 5,145. Do you have any other installments? You have to go to the question and check. The answer is no. So these were all the installments that you have and the remaining total liabilities cannot be paid off. That is the answer, guys. Okay. Wait, do we have any other? Oh, sorry, you have a last installment, right? Sorry, guys. Sorry. I just didn't see. You have a last installment. You have a fourth installment of 7,000 rupees. So now we are going to do the fourth installment. Fourth installment. You have an installment of 7,000 rupees. I'll just check once more. Correct. You have a last installment of 7,000 rupees. Now, so first we will pay 1% remuneration, which will be 700 rupees. The remaining balance would be 7,000 minus 700. It will be 6,300. So from this 6,300, you will have to pay a 10% commission, which will be 6,300 into 10 by 110. So it will be 6,300 into 10 by 110. So it will be 573. So it will be nothing but 573. So if you reduce this, you will get a balance of 6,300 minus 573. You will get 5,727. So after this remaining cash amount only you will distribute it to the partner. So it will be minus A, B, C's capital. You will distribute it in the ratio of 4:3:3. So it will be minus 5,727 from total liabilities also. I made a mistake again. Oh God, I'm sorry guys. So we'll just change this. Yes, you guys can tell me the amount. 7,000 minus 70, that will be 6,930. Again, if we reduce it from here, you will get 6,930 into 10 by 110, which will be 630. If you do that, you will be left with a balance of 6,300, and this 6,300 you will distribute it to the partners. Sorry guys. Yes, so the 6,300 in the ratio of 4:3:3 you have to distribute. You please tell me what is the amount. The final amount you guys can tell me. What is the amount? Can someone tell me? 2,520, then 1,890, 1,890. Is it? Okay, guys. So the remaining balance will be cash balance. You'll be left with nil. The total liabilities that you will be left with is 10,849. A's balance would be 6,859 minus 2,520, which will be 4,339. B's balance would be 5,145 minus 1,890. It will be 3,255, and this also will be 3,255. So this is your final answer, guys. So this is the total liabilities which you will not be able to pay them off. So this is how you solve your highest relative capital method or excess capital method question.